is on. Mic is on. Can y'all hear me? Can y'all hear me? Are the AirPods in? My voice. Oh, yep. All right, cool. We good. I got the voice isolation mode. Yeah, we good. What's up, Rashad? Black Music Month is almost here. Black Music Month is almost here. So we here today to set the narrative straight. We are here to set the narrative straight. June is Black Music Month. June is let's say that again. June is Black Music Month. We must control that narrative. We have to control it because you know what they're doing with June now. June now is they're trying to make it this month and that month and celebrating pride and all that good stuff and no issues with the people that celebrate their pride and they rainbow flag. All salute to y'all. No disrespect. But June was Black Music Month first. Jimmy Carter signed that into legislation in 1979 at the behest of Stevie Wonder, Gamble and Huff, and Black art, Aretha Franklin, Black artists who are still alive and recently passed on. So I think it's important that we honor the hard work that our people put in, that our ancestors put in, not even ancestors, elders who are still alive. This thing that we created called Black music that permeates throughout the world. This is Black Music Month in June, and we must control that narrative. So we're gonna be talking about controlling that narrative in this. We're gonna talk about some Black music history. Later on, I'm gonna have I think Dr. Short, he's doing something, but when he's done, he's gonna come through, and we're gonna talk. And I'm definitely gonna hear what y'all gotta say. So if somebody out there wants to say something, has something to say, talking about music anyway, I want to hear what y'all gotta say. And I'm gonna start off by talking about when I say celebrating Black Music Month, like yo man, we got so much dope shit to talk about musically. I want to know some of y'all's favorite eras musically. I want to know what you think. Who are your favorite bands, your favorite singers? Put your hand up if you want to say something. I'm gonna be talking to y'all. I wish I planned this out more and have so I could have more people up in here. Yeah, half my audience is probably listening to 5150 right now. Salute to Corey Holcomb. Um, so yeah, I wanna hear what y'all got to say about some of this stuff too. And we're gonna be in Dallas, y'all. If y'all gonna be in Dallas this weekend, this coming Friday, the Urban Arts Center, Dallas, Texas. Me, Slink Johnson, Kamir White, Larry Goodwill, Mike Murphy. It's gonna be a dope ass show. So yeah. So and salute to everybody that's on YouTube. This is a Twitter space. For those of you listening later on YouTube, this is a Twitter space. Follow me on Twitter at Dwann B. If you're on Twitter, follow me on YouTube at Dwann B. So go to DwannB.com to find out where all the shit is. All right. So yeah, we here. June is Black Music Month. So I was thinking about just, you know, how great we are as a people, musically. How great we've been as a people, and how great we're going to continue to be, and we continue to be. Is good music being made now? But like, if I'm gonna talk about my favorite era of music, it has to be the 1970s. It has to be that period between really 1967 and 1977 in particular. Well, I'll say 67 to 83 probably is my favorite era of music, 67 to 83. But the long list of music that we've been doing and creating as a people, it goes far beyond that. And for those of you who don't know, I filmed a pilot. I'm filming a documentary series right now. And the pilot I'm going to release on my YouTube pretty soon, where we talk about the extent and the length of the tentacles of Black music throughout America and Black culture, because we have to understand that our music is a sonic interpretation of our culture. Our culture is our way of life, the way we get down. And how do we get down as Black people? We a group of people who, despite how much the odds are against us, we create. We're always in constant mode of creation, always creating. And in history, in society, they always try to make it seem as if we just these ultra oppressed people who, and we are oppressed, but they try to make it seem as if our oppression defines us, and it doesn't. Our oppression is just some shit that we go through. It doesn't define who we are. And we see it through how we react to our oppression. We create the American cuisine, dishes. We create the American lexicon. I saw some shit recently with, it said Henry Louis Gates just had some Black dictionary, some shit like that, some dictionary about to define Black American lingo and speech. It's like, no, the Webster's is Black dictionary. You know how many words that get put in the Webster's every year with shit that we were saying 50 years ago that was considered slang that's now considered standard English? You know, the way we talk, the way we walk. And our music. Our music is so deep. You know, our tentacles that we have across this nation and our stronghold. That's why this country goes so same. We know we're African American, and again that's a slight to Africa, because at the end of the day we're all African at some point in our history. You know, but they do that to other us for what we've created here and continue to create here. They do that, you know, what I was saying, like June is Black Music Month. Now is LGBTQ month, Pride Month. And here in LA, it's a big ass fight between like the Dodgers and some group of gay folks and the Catholic Church. And the Dodgers bent, like, these motherfucking gay people out here was able to break the Catholic Church's back. You know, you're a powerful motherfucker if you can make the Catholic Church stand down. The Catholic Church was mad at some sisters or something coming to LA to the Dodger Stadium, and they were doing some weird shit or whatever. I didn't get too deep into the weird shit that they did. But the Dodgers uninvited them, and they, at the behest of the Catholic Church, and they ended up re-inviting them back. So this is what we're up against when it comes to the groups of people who are doing their best to superimpose what they do on top of our history. So that's why we got to control the narrative. June is Black Music Month. And I got some new people up in here. Like, raise your hand if you want to speak. Let me know what your favorite era of music is. I want to know what you think about, you know, your take on the Black American imprint on America through our music, through our culture, and why we got to control this narrative. I'm starting to treat June, Black Music Month, Juneteenth, the same way I'm treating Black History Month. This is the time to tell the story. Every year, every day is the time to tell the story of our history and where we come from and how great we are. But really in June, let's take an opportunity, because we're starting to see, look at what's going on with the Pride community. They talk about that shit every day. But now that they superimpose that month, thank you, Obama, June, Now they superimpose that on us. But Clinton, Bush didn't acknowledge it. Obama's the one that made it a damn national damn holiday month near. Look at how much into overdrive they go with their shit during June. That's how we got to be with our stuff, with what we created, with our creations. And June is that time, Black Music Month. Let me see. We got Dr. Shortham here. I'm gonna invite you to speak. And we gotta really just celebrate. Just celebrate our music. Talk about one thing that we have fallen victim to over the last 30 years is really narrowing our music taste down into one genre. Like over the last 30 years, Black folks, starting with Black men, we kind of only talk all day about hip hop, top 5 and all that shit, while leaving all of our other creations behind for other people to K-pop their asses on into our shit and make tons of money off of it. That's something right there that we gotta stop. We gotta make sure that we have to make sure that we celebrate it all. I was in a Twitter space recently, and they're talking about like hippies, and they were saying that, and this wasn't them speaking like erroneously. It was just out of a misperception. Like all of us speak out of misperceptions from time to time. But basically, what they were saying was they were talking about the hippies and the whole hippie style and how that's white this and it's white that. And I had to remind them that even the hippie style is Black. These motherfuckers didn't create shit. You think they got enough jazz in their bones to wear those jackets and those hippie style glasses? You think they created that shit? Hippie style is just Black people from Seattle, the Bay Area, that like that like the alternative music that we created. We created heavy metal and grunge. And these are all expressions of our culture. So even when we're talking about hippies and how white folk, that's still Black at its essence. When we're talking about the house music and that whole EDM culture, that what they call it, that underground. That's what they call it. First of all, underground, because it's the term that we use: underground hip hop, underground bass. Those are our creations, and we'll let these people come in and put their face on it, and then spend 15 hours talking about who your top 5 is. What's up, Dr. Short? I just sent you an invite. Let me know if you got the invite to speak, Dr. Short. And if anyone wants, and if anyone else wants to speak, raise your hand or request the mic, and I hear what you got to say. But we let these people come in and come around in our spaces, and we allow these people to basically superimpose what they do, their face, on some shit they copied off us. And part of the reason why they get away with it is because we don't talk about it. And then they'll turn around and tell you, oh, there's no need to celebrate Black Music Month. It's all about pride. The only way that shit stops is with us. That is it. That's the only way it stops. And we don't have to fight them. We just have to speak up for ourselves. Let's think about this for a moment. We have gotten so accustomed to ignoring our immediate ancestors. We either ignore them, or when we do talk about ancestors, we go run back to Africa. and go back and watch a lot of those music documentaries, you always hear people say, okay, our music is African. This is African. That's African. And my question would always be, okay, what part of Africa? Africa's huge. I mean, huge. Get a Peter's projection map. You see how big Africa is. What part of Africa are you talking about? And who brought it? And how did it get here? It's like, how can I believe two things at once? On one hand, they tell us that we were torn out of our homeland, shackled and chained and brought here, and we were ripped apart from our culture, our cultural identity, our history, our names, our religions. Press hands up or give me a response if that's what you heard about Black society your whole life. Is that something that they told you? We were taken from Africa, but they took our language, they took our culture. So if they did all that, how did the music end up over here in North America so perfectly intact? While in Africa, in the Caribbean, they have good music, no doubt. I love calypso. I ain't got no issues with that. I love that. I love the steel drums. But why is it, if we're the ones that got ripped apart, how did our culture, our music get to the point it got so good that the rest of the world wants it? Even the rest of the Black world. They can't do without it. How did that happen? If we were ripped apart and torn from our nation the way they say. How do we have such a musical cultural continuity and they don't? If the whole world went through this experience, and they did, what's different about us? See, when it comes to our music, we can show you the physical progression from the 1700s through now, the 1600s through now, of music cultivation here in America. We can show you that chain of progression, you know. But I can get back to what I was saying. I want to get to John Horse because you were here first. After John Horse, I'm gonna let Dr. Short speak. But go ahead, John Horse, you first.
Hey, what's up, Dwann? Can you hear me?
Yes, I hear you, brother. Go ahead.
Okay, cool. Yeah, this is a good conversation. Yeah, I think like for like our music, one of the main reasons why people latch on to it the way that they do, it comes from a place. It comes from a spiritual place. You know, we make music from our soul. Even when it came down to us being on the plantations, when we would sing from our soul. It was like it was a spiritual thing that we was going through, and we tap into, the feelings of the lyrics and everything that we do, even from the instruments. We become the instrument. And that's why I feel like our music is so influential because it comes from a spiritual place, a holy place, a place where and that's a really really powerful thing because it can either be positive or it can be negative. And of course, the white supremacists, they understand that, and they understand that we we're able to utilize music to communicate with each other. It could be a way for us to communicate in a positive way or in a way for us to go to war with people, and that's something that a lot of people can feel. But when it comes to like just a period of music, and within Black music that I love the, even though I wasn't born in the 80s, I love like the whole 80s vibe, like the whole the guy, the group called Guy, like you can have a piece of my love. I love that song, and I love.
You ever hear that part? You ever hear that part on that song where you say "dumb bitch"?
No, I didn't hear that one.
Go back and listen on that song "Piece of My Love."
Oh.
Well, in the beginning part, he says "doom doom 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 doom," and then when he goes, "You can have a piece of my love," and then right under that he say, "Dumb bitch waiting for," because that song was all about saying. Because the song is saying, look, he says, you can't have all of me because I'm not totally free. I can't tell you other things that's going on. He's saying, look, you ain't the only one. That's what the whole song's about. But it's a little secret nugget. Go back and listen to it. It's in the first 40 seconds of the song. And then when after they say you can have peace of my love, he goes, oh, it's waiting for you, bitch.
Yeah,
Go back and
I,
listen. But go ahead and finish what you're
I
saying.
for sure got to go listen to that. Yeah, but yeah, I love the '80s, and I love the whole '90s. You know, the whole neo soul type of vibe too. You know what I'm saying? Like I just love that, the whole neo soul type of thing. And even in the 2000s, when you get to, hip hop, the whole crunk era, you really get to see the South, when it came down to like, just that era too. Like I love that era. But yeah, I'm gonna just land there. I gotta head out to the gym.
Man, thanks for speaking, brother. Yeah, it's always good to hear different people's perspective depending on the age bracket. Real quick before you leave, what's your how old are you, or what's your age range?
I'm
John
I'm
Horus.
30.
Okay, cool. I thought that's what I was figuring. Yeah, so it's interesting to hear different people's age range and what they go back to. Dr. Short is in the building. What's up, Dr. Short? Give us some of
Oh,
your point of view on. Go ahead.
on Black Music Month and Black music. Oh my. I mean, wow. Music is so incredible. I mean, how do you even touch that? I mean, let me just tell you how crazy music is and how our people are so connected to everything. I'm thinking of something that's really wild. Let's just pick something that a lot of people overlook. Stevie Wonder's The Secret Life of Plants. That's one of those
Oh
albums that
yes,
there's
yes.
a lot of people can't get into. The Stevie Wonder, long before these damn white environmentalists and shit. Stevie Wonder is like dealing with plants and nature and shit. And black folks' music is natural. I had a situation this week to show you how incredible music is and how we're tuned. Um, you know, I'm like gardening in my backyard. I've planted peach trees and cherry trees. I've got blackberry bushes, blueberry bushes, and just in the rhythm of being connected to nature, in the last 3-4 weeks, there are several hundred birds that just sing all day long because I put up several bird feeders. I've got some good shit out for them. Plus, the rat that was stealing the shit I poisoned, I can smell his dead ass out there somewhere. I hope the maggots finish him off. But something about us and land and space and nature makes music. We're connected to the universe through music. And people have to understand that every human being is a transponder. All of us are a living musical instrument. Most people, they're too busy doing other stuff. We're one of the few people that plug into what we are and where we fit. And that's what makes what we do with music different because it's not like European classical music where your ass has to study for years and shit and suffer. It's like Aretha. It's like Whitney. It's just natural because we're in
Dr. Short,
connection.
I can't let you muddle past that point you just made. How they go years and suffer versus how we bring it out naturally. That I'm gonna let you keep going, but I think that's just something that has to be highlighted because you're right. If and this is for the musicians out there, if you listen to a lot of the white instructors, who those are the main ones you see on YouTube, they'll tell you how much of a struggle it is, how hard you have to work, and you do have to work to become a great. You are going to put in the work, you will, but as a black artist, you got to let it flow. We don't do it. We do it differently than them. It's not a struggle. They struggle for this shit. All you gotta
Yes,
do
and
is all
they're
you gotta do is
super.
open your heart, black people. Just open your heart. Go ahead,
They're,
Dr. Short.
they're super technical. I've done a little bit of singing, not a whole lot, but some. And I remember when I used to be in the chapel choir for Howard University's chapel, and our punk ass music director would always criticize us because he says, you guys have such great natural voices. Your voices are better than the white kids, but you guys, you don't have technique, which isn't true. In reality, we just have something that's divine, that's unique to us, that other people have to strive for. And it's the same way we have a connection to nature. So if I told you to show you how it's part of the spirituality of who we are as the original people, even nature coincides with us, and that's what Stevie Wonder was doing with the Secret Life of Plants. And I'll give you an example, and I'll stop. My mother told me that there's a blue jay that hangs out in our backyard. I'd never seen it before the day before yesterday. Do you know, it saw me working, and all of a sudden the blue jay has made itself known to me. And you know, the blue jay, I'd never heard it before, stopped to sing to me. You see, we inspire nature. We fit within nature, so it's natural, the creativity of us. Other people destroy environments. And the same way they have to aspire to things, and we just are. You get what I'm trying? Blues just is. Gospel just is. Jazz just is. Classical and the shit they're on and all this stuff, because they're having to strive to something that the Creator just drops on us, like sunshine, like rain.
Preach.
Okay, and so it's and I'll tell you one last thing, and I'll stop. I started off education with whites. I hated music as taught in school. But when I got to my ghetto school, these young black kids my age, they could all sing on key and all this shit intuitively, from the worst of homes, worst of situation. Well, 100 times better than the affluent kids that I went to school with in Fairfax County. And it was just innate for them to have something to connect with music, sonics, soul, spirit, nature. The same way, I'll say to you, I first started gardening in my backyard years ago, and I would go out and sing. And ever since I started singing, I would have cats, possums, and everything, and I'm in the city, come because of music and sound. Because you have to understand what the Dogon know and Mali is that you know that every planet in the universe has a note, it makes sound. Talk to anyone that's traveled in space. All of nature has music. This is why we're the first people, we're the original musical kind of our species. Everybody else is a goddamn knockoff. And in fact, whatever they achieve, it's often in comparison. And if they say, okay, well, Italian opera, well, okay, stop. The Italians are among the blackest people in Europe.
That's Moorish music.
Italians didn't become white until about 1900 in America. They were classed with black people. Spanish people, which also has good music, it's black music, right? It's just, everywhere you look, everything you point to, even the French, everything you look, Beethoven, it's all us. In fact, I'll tell you, there's a link between the music that you hear from China that turns you on and music from the Sudan, because we're the first people, we had the first music, and so nothing can be greater than the original. Let me just say this and I'm going to shut up. When I worked for Finnegan Henderson, one of the premier high-tech law firms, patent law firms in the country, Texas Instruments defeated Fujitsu over chips. Part of the argument is that no matter how many legs you put on a stool, The original concept of a stool having, you can put 50 legs in the stool, but if it started off with 3 legs, even if you had 100, the concept of the stool is the 3 legs, period. We're the originators of music. There's no one that can outdo the fact that we're the foundational music. And that's why I can say this to you, that music is so much more important to some of us than other people. I can even say even the black people in Australia use sonic music called Dreamtime to communicate telepathically with each other. Are you understanding me?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So once you understand that it's innate and natural, and this is why the small hats and other people have added dissonant harmony. They've done all kinds of things to disrupt the natural supremacy of our creativity and our spiritual connection to the creator and the universe, which comes
that
out through song. Which means and that's why there's such an effort to steal, control, dominate, put people on dope. Are y'all feeling me, y'all?
I want to get to that point. Let's get there. Let's get there. I don't want to get too much right away. Let's get there. Because I want to keep it on this part and get to what they're doing. Real quick, you can finish that point. Like I want to get to Miriam, and then I want to move on to the next point. Miriam, you were here.
Yep. And she's from East St. Louis, and two of the greatest musicians. I mean, Catherine Dunham and Catherine Dunham and Miles Davis. I mean, and she did it through the rhythm, and so she's from a bastion of black music. Even Scott Joplin's syphilitic ass was over in East St. Louis. Yes, he was.
All right, Miriam, keep it short. I don't want to keep it too long. I want to keep the room going. So, Miriam, keep it short, but go right ahead.
Sure. Thank you for the space. And you're so correct, Dr. Short, on so many levels that you have hit. As well as,
Miriam, are you there? Can y'all hear her? I can hear her.
As well as yourself, Brother Dwann B. Can you hear me?
We hear her.
I can't hear her.
I can hear y'all. You can't.
We hear you. We hear both people, Dwann.
They messing with your phone again this early, Dwann.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what's going on. Can you hear me? Did she go?
We hear you.
Did Miriam leave?
Nope.
Let me invite her back. Mark, you here? Go ahead, Mark. Then I'll bring Miriam back. Mark looked like he left too. Sound like we having some special. Maybe if Miriam will come back. But if y'all got Miriam, get her to come down, come on back here. But there she is. Go ahead, Miriam. Say what you had to say.
Okay, thank you. I was saying good evening to the room, and thank you for this space. You both are cooking with fire. I tell you, you and Dr. Short are hitting it on the head. Pretty much, we are divinely led. Spirit is born within our soul. We are a very rhythmic people. We breathe in sync. We speak with rhythm in sync. Without even trying, it's an effortless thing. And when you get to doing music appreciation in college and areas like that, and I was taught music appreciation by one of the greats, Mr. Eugene Haynes. He was a world-known, he taught over there in Europe, and he resided right here in East St. Louis to his end days. He was one of the great orchestra conductors there was. And even he said in his college courses with us that we do it naturally. Miles Davis was a little bit hesitant to learning actual music, written music or note music, because he did it naturally. And him, as well as a number of other jazz singers, said how once you learn music through notes and other things, it's a whole another thing. It's a discipline that kind of strips but it's a discipline nonetheless because they are used to going in and just doing sessions naturally and letting it pour out. Because once you tap into your heart chakra, it will do that. Um, I mean, jam sessions that are so fire, and uh, if you could make it um, seen through light, you would see all of that which is in heaven or in the cosmos. You would get all sorts of different vibrational lights, vibrational sounds, which sound is that which create vision. A lot of people don't understand that. To that, as well as like I say, breathing in rhythm with when a child is in the womb of her mom of its mother, it breathes within rhythm with the mother. Um, the first voices that it hear is the mother, along with those who, if they come and talk to your belly and things of that nature, the father, and maybe siblings and things of that nature. So we are definitely a divinely great musical people, and we are so wonderful here, exceptional here in this country because we have a concept of music that no one else does.
Yes, we
We
do. Yes, we do.
yes, sir. We both.
Oh, before you finish, I'm gonna let you finish. If those of you in here want to say something, want to speak to the topic, raise your hand. I'll give you 2 minutes to say what you got to say, and I'll let you speak more than once. But we want to keep it around 2 minutes so we can just keep the flow of the room going. So if you want to say something, raise your hand, and then after Sister Miriam says what she has to say, I got you. Go ahead, finish what you got to say.
Indeed. That's why we birth so many different genres of music, and steady is evolving and elevating music. Even, I know you're getting ready to touch upon it, even when they came and messed with our sound, and I'll leave it there because I know you want to segue into another point. Thank you, family.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Mark, you have anything to say to this part of the subject before I move on? I cannot hear Mark. Can y'all hear Mark?
Yes. Is my
There you
my
are,
go?
Mark. Go ahead.
Okay.
Go ahead. Go ahead, Mark.
Yeah. All right. Good evening, everybody in the room. Um, I just say, black music is it's so it's so great that you can't put it in the box. You know, it's the soundtrack of our culture, life. In our and it's the soundtrack to our accomplishments in this country. It's like that's why I don't entertain top fives or anything because our music is too great. We got too many great people to really put it in the box. So, and it just takes us to another place that nobody can go to. Nobody outside us
Yes,
can go
sir.
to.
Yes, sir.
But,
You're right about that. That's why. Go ahead.
but yeah, like because same as you. I grew up in the '80s. Like Michael Jackson's music always took me to another place. It's like
Real
like
talk. Real
all his
talk. Real
songs.
talk.
It's just
The
something
'80s,
about
man. Yeah,
his
yeah.
voice. Yes. Like Human
Yeah. Michael
Nature. That
Jackson,
song
man,
took
man.
me, Human Nature always took me to another place. I can always vibe to
Yeah,
Human Nature.
man.
But I'm going to land my
Yes,
plane
sir.
right
Yes, sir.
there.
So, all right, bro. I'll let you speak again. So, you're right. It's different eras have different, meanings of people. And so it's just one of those things where our music is so in depth, it's so deep. You know what I mean? And so moving on, like it was a few points that like Dr. Short made as far as how, because I don't like to go too deep. I want to take things kind of point by point. And one of the points Dr. Short made that I want to segue to as far as the next part of what we're talking about tonight is how natural it is for us. For us, it's natural. It's like breathing. It's air. It's water. That's why we must celebrate and talk about these things, like tonight when we're having these kind of discussions, because something, something when something's like right there on your nose, you can't see it, right? Music is so effortless to us, and what we do is so effortless. We very rarely take time to slow down and pay attention to what we're doing and what we're creating. And we got June is a month, celebrating Black Music Month. This is a time to slow down, pay attention to our creations, focus on what we're creating, what we're doing, and look at it real close, and see what it is. June is a time that is crazy because, like, even when you just look at it from the point of view of like Dr. Short said, natural music, natural rhythm. When we were up there playing, I remember when I was teaching myself how to play the drums. It was just something in me that needed to play the drums when I was 2 and 3. I used to put up my mom's pots and pans, and I would get her the wooden spoons, and I would play on her pots and pans. When I was 4 or 5, I would pull them out and play. And I always asked my dad to give me a drum set, but my dad was cheap. Like, man, I ain't getting that. You know how much a drum set costs? Shit, you got a job? Like, pops, I'm 5. No, I ain't got a job. Well, you ain't getting no goddamn drum set. And it wasn't until like I just stayed on my dad's ass, and I would work. I would get jobs. Then at 14, he buckled. He got part of it, and I got a little job, and I got my part. And I remember turning on the radio, and I just picked the music up real easily. And the first song that I learned was "I Get Around" by Tupac. I was on the hip hop station naturally because that's the sound of my era. But when I played "I Get Around," I picked that song up within a couple hours of me picking up and sitting on a drum set for the first time, a real live drum set. It took me a couple hours for me to pick up that song. It just happened. And that's what got me into 70s music, because I was like, all the hip hop shit was just too repetitive and it was easy for me. And then I turned to the old school station and I heard this monster drum solo. And it made me fall in love with my dad's era of music, the 70s. And it was a song by the Ohio Players called "I Want to Be Free." If you ain't heard that song starts off with a drum solo by Diamond, the drummer for the Ohio Players. And I heard that and I was hooked. From that point on, I had to play my drums every day, and it was a natural thing. And then I went to school, and the music teacher at school was white. Mr. Hankey was his name. He looked like Beavis from Beavis and Butthead. And then I learned how to start reading music. So my mom enrolled me in drum lessons. And had I known better, I would have been over in the Mert Park with Kamasi Washington and Thundercat and Terrace Martin and those guys, learning from the black greats over there. But at the time, and I lived about a mile and a half from there, I just know that whole Mer Park thing was going on. So I had a drum instructor, was a white lady named Kate Carlson out of Inglewood. Now, don't get no disrespect. She was a beautiful white woman, taught me how to read music, old white lady. But between them, they really got me in my head thinking too much. That's why what Dr. Short said was so struck a chord with me, as far as them talking about working and overthinking things. When I was on my drums natural, it was easy. When I played music at church, I started playing the drums at church at 14. That's I started playing my first Sunday morning service playing the drums. I had only my first time picking up a pair of sticks was 6 months before that. That's how quick I picked it up. I was moving at a fast pace. And then when I got under white instruction, and I don't want to disrespect, especially Kay. She taught me how to read music. You know what I mean? So I could never take that away from her. But I remember some of the instruction I got, it would get chemical and thinking. And I started really overthinking my point to where after, because when I got under that white instruction, I got all this technical shit that made music fucking boring and made it lag. And had I been under a more natural setting around natural people that understand this natural process, sometimes I look back, and I don't like looking back, but I think, man, how good would I have gotten on the drums had I just stayed free and not gone through that whole process of being around these people and having them get me in my head, because that literally was that was a couple decades long. It tired me out. So by the time I got to my early 30s, I just stopped playing the drums for a while. I had to really like take time off. I was just overthinking shit. And it was in my time off when I really just got to study music and just let me just appreciate music. That's when I started getting into my studies more about music and more so than studying, just listening. Fuck reading books and stuff. Just turning the music on, putting some good ass headphones on, or having a good sound system, and listening to every layer of the music, listening to documentaries of the artists, how they put music together. I started to regain my love and really, I started to realize that, damn, part of the reason why I got burnt out musically was because for a while in my head, I had become a European mentally with the music. And a lot of us do that. And that's where a lot of black people are at that point, especially when Mark made that point earlier about these top 5 arguments. We arguing who's better than that. You gotta understand, anytime an argument come around talking about some who's better, my top 5, that's some European shit. Music ain't nothing in your head. Music is your heart and your soul, and it's natural. And if it ain't coming from that place, it ain't real. And before I go back to Dr. Short, I'm gonna let you speak, Dr. Short, 1 second. Before I do that, because I meant to drop his name earlier. An artist I want you guys to follow and listen to. And I get so mad that he's under 100 Spotify. He should have tens of thousands because he's been a great producer for a lot of music that you know and love. His name is Kenneth Crouch, Andre Crouch's nephew. He is a keyboardist and music director, one of the greatest musicians to ever walk the planet. He's played with everybody, but he's given so much of his music to other people. And I talked to him recently, and I was telling him the importance of, man, like, nah, you got to dedicate more of your music back to yourself, because when you pull up Kenneth Crouch's music, it's not quite jazz, it's not quite R&B, it's not quite gospel, but it's a spirit in that music. And you listen to, it's an energy, it's a spirit, it's a flow. And when this man, when he puts his music together, this man is tapped into spirit. And so I want you to look him up. And, it's just music that you just vibe out to, and allow the vibrations from the music to take over your spirit. Because I'm oftentimes quick to point back to the 70s, because y'all know it's my favorite era of music. But I want to give y'all some music made over the last 2 years that will, if you open your spirit to it, it's going to open you up and take you to another level, like what Dr. Short was talking about. So, Dr. Short, you talked about the spirit in the music. So now you can either get back to the natural part of the music, or you can go on to whatever part that you wanted to go on to. But I had to address that part before we got any further. Go ahead. Dr. Short must not be there. I'll let.
Hello?
There he is. Go ahead.
Okay. All right. So, well, I simply want to say to people that the earliest languages that they can find among these people that move all around Africa, and the languages are tonal, which means that a lot of stuff is singing. Have you ever noticed, even say people from the Caribbean?
Black American English is tonal. Go ahead.
Yes. So, yeah, and therefore, this is what I was going to say to someone. Like rap isn't really new. In reality, rap is the accentuation of beats, because there's always been a rap, right? Whether it's a reel about and turnabout and jump just so every time I reel about I jump Jim Crow. That's a damn rap, but that's from the 1700s, right? I reel about, turnabout, I jump just so every time I turn about I jump Jim Crow. I mean, that's the same shit. It's just the emphasis on the beats. Or, do you follow? It's like the modulation of your voice, right? I can say to you, I love you, or I can say ti amo. It's the same thing. It's just the modulation, same voice, but the modulation. We've been doing everything that we've been doing and doing it because it's who we are. I mean, we emanate sounds and frequencies if people follow that. So, like I was going to say to someone, folks make it seem as if things are necessarily that different. And in reality, we've been just being who we are. So it's natural to us. A lot of people, it's sort of like people say the music does have some changes in a sense. But if you sit down, you think about a hit from the 50s and compare it to a hit from the 90s or even now, the wordplay or word flow won't necessarily be that different. It's only how we emphasize the beat. Are you getting me? I'm standing at your door, and all I'm waiting for is, this is a song by the group A Beggar for Your Kisses from the middle 50s, right? We've been doing it because it's who we are. And so what we're doing is basically serenading the reality of life, right? Whether, what's a good song? If I Could Turn Back the Hands of Time by R. Kelly, or She's Got Paper by what's his name? Fields. You know who I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Or compare that to the Clovers, One Mint Julep. When every morning I was walking, I met a woman, we started talking, right? I mean, and if New York, too many people, too much, or you can keep going, keep your head up.
You can listen to you can listen to songs like Confessions by Usher and Ignition by R. Kelly. It's all the same nursery rhyme. Is banana, banana. It's a certain that these rhythms get played over and over and over and over again.
Right, and it's a tweaking here or there, and a lot of times, so in reality, there is a voice, a continuous voice, a continuous frequency of creativity that emanates from people that's unique to them. It's the same way. If you go to particular places in the world, you can find a certain sort of fauna or vegetation that's unique to it, and it's nowhere else. You get where I'm coming from? Like when you grow a garden, certain things only grow in zones 10 through 7. You can't grow stuff in upstate New York that you can grow in New Jersey because it's a different zone. And it's the same way in nature. There's certain things that don't come from certain things. There's certain sounds and things that are unique to specific people. But what's interesting, getting back to Black people, is our stuff is so universal. Everybody resonates to it. Even at the height of European racism and colonialism, they tended to have Black soldiers be the drummers for their armies.
Real talk.
I don't want you. I hate you. You're subhuman. But please, we need Black folks drumming for us to fight. Sit down and think of. I don't even recognize your humanity, but I need your sounds and frequencies. Sit down and figure that the hell out. Whether it's Colonel Reese, or whether you had different people doing stuff, or for that matter, you have Paul Robeson singing to the fucking communists during the Spanish Civil War.
Dr. Short, look at this. To piggyback on what you're saying, one of the biggest donors to that white boy that choked out that Black man in New York was Kid Rock. Who put on Kid Rock? Too Short. Kid Rock was rapping, and he was put on by a black man, Too Short. And you see what and this goes to all you dumb niggas out there that think just because the white homeboy is cool with you, he like your culture and like who you are. No, they like what we produce. They like what we create. And they're going to be around us long enough to get something up out of that. But if it weren't for a black man named Too Short and Kid Rock being a halfway decent rapper for a white guy, we would never know who the fuck he is. But the minute he got a little bit of access, he turned around and did what the hell he did. That's how strong our culture is. The people that hate us, hate us, will sit around and tolerate us long enough because our culture is cracked. They can't do without it. Go ahead, Dr. Short.
And so, because it's foundational, same way we're foundational Black Americans, we're foundational human beings to humanity, and you can't get the hell away from whatever it is that we're doing. And therefore, I can say to you, the story is over and over and over again. When I was in Iran exactly 9 years ago, if you like Iranian music, the best Iranian music comes from the blackest part of Iran. The best beats, if you want a boogie, go to where the black folks are. Sit down and think about the best Chinese music. You start looking everywhere where the sounds come from. And
look
it's
at how
intensive.
dark Tito Puente was.
If you start looking, it's the same way I had to explain to a Mexican-American friend of mine that the mariachi music that everybody thinks is Mexico, but that comes from the blackest part of Mexico. It does not come from the lighter skinned parts of Mexico. Agua Caliente, Yucatan, it's where the black folks came and where the black people did. That's where the doggone music comes from. If you start looking.
Same thing with Cuba. Cuba, Celia Cruz.
Santiago de Cuba. Santiago de Cuba. The blacker the Cuba is part of Cuba is, the better the music. The blacker America is, the better the music. Wherever you look, you'll find the same consistency of creativity because there is some connection to, I don't know exactly how, and I'm not any kind of supremacy, folks, but melanin gives some creativity that some other people don't exactly have, and they're very much aware of it. And therefore,
hey, Dr. Short, before you go back to that point, someone said about as far as aware of it. When I used to drive Uber, I had an Asian Uber passenger. This is when Anderson .Paak's Oxnard album dropped. I think that was 2018 or 17. It was an Asian passenger I had, and he said, "Oh, I always wanted to marry a black girl or have a child with a black girl." I was like, "Why?" He said, "Well, that's kind of a thing that we Asians always talk about, especially since Anderson .Paak came out. We want to have a baby with a black girl so we can create our own Anderson .Paak." They're like, because we Asians, we know we can't, if it's two Asians get together, we can't create an Anderson .Paak. Our only chance of creating an Anderson .Paak is if we get with a black woman. This was like, and I had that conversation with like 3 different Uber passengers over like a 4-month stretch. And I was like, wow, these motherfuckers don't even know each other. I had the exact same conversation. So that goes on to Dr. Short's point of they know. Go ahead.
And even where there's super anti-black racism, the essence of the music of the Islamic world comes from who? Bilal, the black man who's friends to Muhammad. Whether that's the best music, but for them, the first person to create the sound that attracts the world's second largest religion, black man singing. Think about it. And so no matter how you flip it, no matter where you go, it keeps emerging time and time again that we seem to have a uniqueness. And by the way, the creativity even is intensified under persecution. What are the key places where there's new creativity? Southern Africa. You want to hear some Africans that can sing and get down? South Africa. In America, of course, we get down. Cuba, super racist, they've got great music. Congo, lots of oppression, great music, right? And wherever these people removed, what? You've got Afropop, where is it? It's in Paris. Even reggae, I mean, you can move it from Jamaica, it takes off in London. In other words, even if you attack the creativity, it becomes intensified under pressure, like a diamond. Carbon looks one way, but if you apply heat and pressure, it becomes tougher, more refined, more attractive. Take black folks from the rural South, put them in a vicious northern urban environment, and you go from regular blues to electronic blues. This is how we adjust under pressure, force, and unfit to become even more creative. You take the instruments and music out of the school, we come up with rap. And because there's a creative spark that can't be eliminated. You take the drums away, and we come up with a different syncopation to the beats. That is, do you get where I'm coming from? No matter what we do, it is innate to us four, and therefore even everything keeps relating back to, and they can say, well,
Dr. Short, I want to go into the point you just said, because you kind of went past it, the whole rap thing. This is what happened. They stopped teaching us music. So because we still had that juice and that energy, we were able to get our Kanye West and Just Blaze and Dr. Dre's, and they had the ear, DJ Quicks, for the perfect drum beats, and said since there was so much music, this is how God works, right? This is how God works. There was so much great music created in the 60s and the 70s. We forgot because it was every time something came out, something new, something great. So they took the music from us. So we so great, we said, aha, let's just, since we don't know how to resolve these chords, since we don't know how to create these chord progressions, I have an ear for what a good chord progression is. I have an ear for what a good drum break is. And they went back to all that great music of the 60s and the 70s that was oftentimes glanced over. Is the point that Dr. Short makes all the time, how we all know we all know you better shop around, but none of us know the song that hit number one at the same time. Our music would always hit second. It would never go number one, but it would be the music that stayed around. But it was never respected properly. So when hip hop came along, they said, you know what? Let's go ahead and go back to the great era of the 60s and the 70s in particular, 50s also, but in particular the 60s and the 70s, and let's bring back up all this greatness. And since the 90s, 2000s, 2010s, through that, we're now in our fourth decade of making music, specifically out of Black music of the 60s and the 70s. And get, whether it be sampling a beat, a chord progression, a background harmony, or something. We're going to keep the music going, no matter what the fuck they do. And the minute that's why we're having this, June is Black Music Month. We're celebrating our greatness because we don't have time to sit around and fight nobody else to say you this, you that. You know what I mean? We don't fight on other people's terms. All we got to do is drop our pants and show the world how big our dick is. And it just is what it is. Excuse the expression, ladies. That's all we got to do. We ain't got to fight nobody else. We just need to spend these times, Black History Month. We need to do a 365, but we need to spend these times, Black History Month, Black Music Month, to show the world, not fuck the world, remind ourselves how fucking great we are. Because they're going to take their little pride and do it. They're going to do what they do. But all we got to do is stand in the truth of what we are, and we're going to steal the show like we always do. Because think about it, Black folks. Every time we steal the show, every time we create something new and dope, every time we create culture, what are we doing it under what guise? We doing it under guise of minding our black ass business. We just minding our business, having fun. It's the summertime. It's hot. Let's dance. Oh, your mama got a basement. I got a bass guitar. You got a trumpet. Jimmy Ray over there got a drum set. Let's just go have some fun. We create culture and we create the world's movements out of relaxing and having fun. So let's just celebrate that. The same way they celebrate, but the way we celebrate, we're going to create some dope shit like we always do. Go ahead, Dr. Short. You there, Dr. Short?
Yeah, I'm sorry, I turned my mic off. So, look, we just need to understand that no matter what anyone says or does, how integral sound is to everything, and sound is quintessential. And so there are frequencies that we're all engaged in, that we create, we do, and therefore, as a result in that, we have a significant role that we play, no matter how no matter what. And by the way, there's something even more powerful, and that is the cross-pollination of styles amongst us. That if you take an area where many different types of Black people converge, say Miami or New York or Los Angeles or New Orleans or Chicago, the more the merrier, the more diverse, the more incredible. Are you understanding me? You've got 1.5 billion people in China, and in reality, 1.5 billion Chinese have not created anything comparably cultural to what 60 million Black people have created. Think about that. Or you could even add the Indians in. You could get 3-4 billion people, and they haven't produced as much as we have. In charge of their culture.
Dr. Short, you just hit on a point that I thought about this yesterday. I was in Compton yesterday. And Compton is mostly Mexican now. And it's been mostly Mexican for a long time. You know, it's only a handful of Black people in Compton since the last 15 years. You know, Compton is very Mexican. And with that being said, with the few Black people who are still left in Compton, they're still putting out great music. And a lot of these areas of South Central LA that created all of this dope music that everybody loves, for the last 20 years, is being replaced by Mexicans. People are going to say Black music comes from the hood. It's a product of the hood. If our music is a product of the hood, then why aren't the people currently occupying the hood creating good music? See, it's
because
not about
the bed bugs suck all of the influence out of them.
You know what's so bad about that, Dr. Short? When I was at my last job working mental health, whenever we had to make, and this, I don't want to sound like I'm talking shit about Mexicans, but look, I
You
gotta tell
can.
the truth.
We give you permission.
Okay, I just gotta tell the truth. If I had a client's house with bed bugs and lice, it guarantee it wasn't one of us. I remember one person, they had a house over on Central and 41st, 41st and Central, where we were creating the Harlem, the Black LA Renaissance with jazz music, is now occupied by them folks. One of my coworkers, they didn't get on me, but one of my coworkers ended up getting bed bugs in their house from sitting on that woman's bed, because we had to sit on the bed because they didn't have a couch, and it was 6 kids in this little thing, and they want to talk about us. But anyway, that's another topic. They're occupying the same piece of real estate that Miles Davis, and Count Basie, and Ella Fitzgerald, and Lena Horne created the greatest culture of the 20s and the 30s and the 40s. and they ain't doing nothing with it. That shows you it's not about where we are, it's about who we are. Go ahead, Dr. Short.
Well, as I said, everybody's got something, and some people have more than others. It's just that simple. And therefore, you can't find it anywhere else from anyone else, and everybody knows it. And it isn't just that, it even comes down to food. The more food culture, you name it, the more people are anti us or exclude us, the more bland and flavorless their culture is, their food included. You want to have some nasty food, deal with the nasty Anglo-Saxons. People so caught up in whiteness. And the only thing culturally relevant, really, that the Anglos have done within the last 70 years, actually 60 years, frankly, is them appropriating black music, because that's the only thing that they really can cling to. I don't care. Rolling Stones, degenerate Elton John, the Beatles, Dave Clark 5, Dusty Springfield. We can run through the entire British invasion, the Bee Gees, everything that defines the most racist people on the planet. It comes from the very people that they hate. That's the only thing defining, because in reality, their own history of themselves is myths. The only thing that's really true is that we black folk got something. May not understand it, may not even be in control of it, but we got something. And that is the fact that we're first, we're part of nature, we have an ability spiritually to connect and to direct. I mean, whether it's you name it, and that is an advantage that we have. And it's not just with music. I don't know if people understand, because this music isn't just for singing. Do people recognize that our ancestors, and I'm saying this because I had draymen and oystermen and fish, these folks would go out and sing to the damn fishes and shit to catch them. Did you know that they had stuff that they didn't let black people do certain sorts of fishing and all because the white people didn't understand it? How these niggas go out and sing and catch fish and the white people can't sing? So you know what?
I did
Y'all
not
can't
know
do it.
that.
People do stuff like that. You didn't know that Africans and other people sing and entertain the alligators and shit. You didn't know folk use music and other stuff to even catch and hunt animals. Now, yeah, people doing the fox hunting, which is kind of crude. But people knowing and doing certain things to catch birds using music, bells,
But
instruments, so forth.
Dr. Short, music literally heals. Again, go back to Kenneth Crouch. First, I want you guys to listen to. We had a conversation. We were listening to some music a couple weeks ago. We were listening to some Earth and Fire. And we were listening to the song Be Ever Wonderful. And we were talking music. And I was talking music from a drummer's angle. He was talking music from a orchestrator's angle, a keyboardist, music director. Different approaches, the same conclusions. And I'm talking about why the song is so uplifting and powerful, because it's in 6/8. 6/8 is a tempo of the heartbeat. And I'm talking about the swing and how the swing, like what happens when we have an emotional shift? This is how you know life is music. What happens when you have an emotional shift? They say you have an emotional swing, a swing of emotion.
A mood swing.
Mood swing, emotional swing. That's what swing is in music. The swing of a song changes your emotion. It tickles your fancy emotionally and how you feel it. That's what a swing does to your music. And swing was a sound that Count Basie and Duke Ellington mastered. But swing is something that never left music. You can hear swing when you listen to Next Lifetime by Erykah Badu. That song is swing. Everything about that. It's all swing. And when you're talking about, so I'm talking about it from that point of view. He's telling me that I forgot. Don't quote me on the notes because I'm a drummer. I'm not a keyboardist. I'm not good with the notes. But I forgot the exact notes that he used. But he said it's a gospel change. When you go from G to D, every time when you make this change, is going to pull the emotion out of the spirit. And he just break it down to me sonically. Okay, this F major minor, this F minor 7 over a D7 chord. If I play this, it's going to make you cry. If I play that, it's going to make you happy. And he literally explained to me the theory behind how he controls you emotionally through the music chords. What do we call what happens when and through the chords? Chords is what we have. That's when you have an emotional chord with people. These are the words that we use all the time. These chords are the ties and the bonds that are intertwined within the music because life is a song. And I'm talking as a drummer saying that, but yeah, that's the chord that's doing it. But but as a drummer, when I use a tom to crescendo the feeling, and then I break it down, and I hit specifically my 18-inch crash, versus if I hit my 8-inch splash or my 20-inch Chinese, depending on which symbol I hit, is going to draw a different feeling out of you. And then the trumpet player has his own story. The bass player has his own story. And then the background singers have their way. And when you put all of that together, it literally controls your mood and your feeling. That's how real music is. Music heals. And I'm gonna get right back to you, Dr. Short. But I'll never forget one conversation I had with Mr. Carmichael, my wife's father. I was talking to him and his wife, my mother-in-law. And she said, James, remember when you used to tell me you got into music to heal people? And he was like, you're right. You know, Mr. Carmichael is one of the greatest music arrangers you'll ever want to hear. Put together an orchestra, string section. And he always talked about how, you know, when he got into music, he wanted to heal people. Later on, of course, it became about the money. But, you know, and when that money get like that, it is. But he never stopped it being about the music. And so when he had a scare at the hospital a year ago, and when he was recovering and getting better, he listened to his music. And he's someone who never listened to his music because to him it's always work. It's work. You know, when you get to those guys, it's work. But when he had that, when he was not feeling well, and he's back at 100% now, to get him to 100%, he listened to his music. He listened to "I'll Be There" by the Jackson 5. He listened to Zoom. But through listening to his own music, the compositions he made for the Jackson 5, the compositions he made for Eddie Kendricks, and for the Atlantic Star, Lionel Richie, Commodores, and B.B. King, and name them, he made an arrangement for them. He was able to get his memory back sharp again. And I literally saw that man go from not feeling well at all to being back to who he is through the healing powers of music. Music really is medicine. Go ahead, Dr. Short.
Yeah, no, just, are you hearing me?
Yeah, I hear you.
Okay. Music for us is so very important because music is not just communication, but music is also, how can I say, music is an expression of so many different things, whether it's love or even the Zulus and other people have fight songs. Even the Aboriginal people here, you had songs that you sang before you died. You know, we had that sort of here, but we've lost it. There's a song that people sing, you know, and it helps understand and deal with life. For example, I mean, everybody that has a little religious thing, they know the song Precious Lord. And to a lesser degree, they know the song Well, Well, Well. And people would sing that song, Well, 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 right? Well, 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 well. I don't want nobody crying for me. Well, 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 well. God's going to make up my dying bed, right? When you see me dying, I don't want nobody crying. All I want from you is to close my dying eyes. Well, well, well. That's what our ancestors used to sing when people were sick. People would sing that to prepare themselves to make a spiritual transition. I don't know if you're aware of this. I mean, even music is healing in the sense that they not only have prayer, but they've even found that music gives people an ability to move and do things that they ordinarily could not do. Well, that's whether they're older. Well, let's sit down and think about the railroads.
I was just about to go to the railroads.
The
Yes.
railroads that was set in place by black men is based off of music, harmony, and rhythm to set forth the world's most important transportation system.
That's how
And
deep
so,
it
I
is.
mean, so it's there's so many different things. So, for that matter, cotton picking music. I mean, it's all. I mean, so the most important agri-industrial process was our was was greased by the music and rhythm that allowed people to work through doing all that awful work, or for that matter, black folks working the docks singing.
Real talk. Real quick, Dr. Short. Real quick. For those of you listening, I'll let Dr. Short finish. For those of you listening, if you want to speak, raise your hand. What's up, everybody in the chat room? Twizzle, everybody, Black Voltron's here. If you want to speak, raise your hand. I'll get you up here after Dr. Short says what he has to say. Go ahead, Dr. Short.
So yeah, and so I also want to say to people that music is good for the mind. A lot of people may not be aware, but a lot of mental institutions would have people do music as part of healing to get people's minds back in order. And I'll just give you a very simple example. Wow, going back 50 years ago, I can recall, it's about 50 years ago, or 49, 50 years ago. My father and mother used to go and perform music at the mental institution here at DC, St. Elizabeth's. And they would sing, and my mother would sing, my dad would play. Do you know that they began to lose so many patients until I can recall being with my parents, and they called the police out on my parents. They're going to throw us in jail for ruining what they were doing at the hospital. Because I can recall, this is what, Christmas, either 74 or 73, being with my parents at St. Elizabeth's Hospital. And they were in the community room and they were singing and all of this. And some people came in and my parents were called out, and I'm nosy. I came to listen. And my parents were threatened for being charlatans, being frauds, and how all these people were checking out, saying that they were better after hearing good music. And they asked, who do people think you are? What are you doing? My father said, we just come in and sing and play and talk to people. But in particular, we just sing. We think of things that would help people cope. And people would shake out of their mental problems. And so I can recall them saying, "You better get."
I'll give you one. I'll give you one to show you how deep this goes. The quarterphone was an instrument that the Moors used to get people's liquid systems moving. When they had any kind of liquid system issues, the blood, whether it be in the blood or
You mean the
the mucus,
lymphatic
the
system?
lymphatic, yeah, they would use that was a quarterphone was created for it. I found that out in Van Sertima's book, The Golden Age and the Moor. And they my wife, I don't talk about my wife's business. My wife has she has clients, LA is very hippie, a lot of liberals out here. My wife does work with tuning forks and sound bowls. People who've been going to therapy for years and years and years, these crazy ass white folks that have been going to therapy to deal with their anger issues to their mama and shit. Like she literally uses sound. And these people talk and give her reviews and talk about just the use of sound doing more for them than years of therapy, as far as making them feel some kind of relief from the mental anguish that they've been going to. And these are white folks who ain't even. So imagine if we black folks tapped into these so-called quote unquote pseudo things that we talk about, using our music, tuning forks, sound bowls, things like that, and playing them over key areas of your body. That shit works. And I see it every day. Us as black folks, we're starting to get in tune with it. We're starting to. But man, my wife be going to these white folks with money and be tagging their asses because it actually works and they understand it works. And one thing about them, they don't mind hiring a black person because they know that we tuned into this shit. Like here in LA, they don't like if you're a black lawyer, if you're a black, I used to do IEPs and shit. You're a black expert, the liberals don't like fucking with black experts in like tangible earthy things that they feel that they should dominate. They don't fuck with you in California with that. But if you're into your natural shit, they understand the power of music. It's my trainer, the lady who's helped me, Latrell Mitchell, she's helped me lose so far like 60 pounds. She has a sound bath healing meditation that she does every other Sunday in Beverly Hills. And these liberals is up in that motherfucker every other Sunday, 1 hour, just her playing tuning bowls and wind chimes. And I do it. You sit there and just be quiet and let the tuning bowls and wind chimes play and the tuning forks. It does something to your mental and your spiritual. Like physical is one thing, but I mean your mental, like you feel it does something. It's music. Music really does fucking heal. And there's something that while we're celebrating Black Music Month, that's something I really want you guys to tune into. And goes back to my man Kenneth Crouch. I keep telling him he needs to rebrand his music into meditation music. Because if you listen to his music and the sounds that he's using, it will heal your soul. Music is something that we need to tap into. Fuck these top 5 arguments. Fuck who's the greatest singer. All that bullshit. Somebody sold 100 million albums. Fuck all that. That person said bars. What the fuck do the bars mean if it didn't say nothing to your soul? Get out your head and tap into your spirit. Your spirit is where the music is. Your spirit is where the music is. I'm gonna get to Miriam, Doctor. I'm gonna get right back to you, Dr. Short. Go ahead, Miriam.
Thank you, Brother Dwann B. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Indeed, when you were talking about the tuning forks and the sound bowls, it's amazing because it connects directly with different stars and it plays on the different frequencies, all your brain waves, alpha, beta, kappa, you know what I'm saying? It touches all that and it hits all of your main chakras, which is 7 of them, but actually every cell um, or nerve ending, the hair that runs on the outer side of your skin, which is the largest organ, is like a little portal or is a little chakra. But you have your 7 main ones that governs the body. And so you are so correct. It released a lot of trauma. Like it could go back to someone being in the womb and release, if you were born under stress and trauma, and release that all the way from when you're a young child to middle age, well, teenage, middle age, or well, young adult, middle age, and elderly. Hmm? And so yes, music is very, like I said, it touches the soul. Actually, it's called soul catcher for a reason, because we're under these divine laws and principles of our esoteric, so above, so below. And we have to understand that if you get to breaking down each or blood cell, let's just say one, you have your nuclei, you have your electrons, and you have your neutron. Just like our planets go around the sun in its solar system, so does our blood. So above, so below. And I'll yield my time right there. Thank you.
Well, thank you for that, Dr. Short. I want to hear what you got to say about that, or whatever you want to get to. Go ahead, Dr. Short.
Oh, well, I'm probably going to check out here because it's late on my time. But I simply want to say to people that part uh of healing and even liberation and so forth is in sounds and frequencies, and our music has liberational dimensions and aspects, and therefore this is sort of why there's an effort to manipulate and distort and to kill those things, because people know that there's a connection to wellness, control, music, sounds, frequencies, and our relationship to it. In fact, let us be honest, the music that was being played in the 50s and 60s had more to do with Jim Crow segregation being at least reduced, because people were going to do anything they could to experience the sound, frequencies, and the style of music being made by Black musicians. And in fact, this is why they literally, the same way that heroin and other things are controlled substances, so was Black music. Black music was deliberately kept away from white people as a means to not allow people to feel, understand, connect to. Are you understanding me? And in fact, when people started hearing certain things, it undermined divisions and even certain types of prejudice. Not with everyone, but with some. It's often in the area of music, whether it's jazz or blues, where people have some respect or connection. It came through this area of music. And this is another reason why they would keep stuff away from people and make it harder and call it race music and not play it. And in fact, part of making people hate one another is attacking music. It's sort of like disco music, which people loved all over the world. When the precursor to the reaction of the Reagan era was the destruction of Black music at baseball stadiums. I don't know, for you younger people, you don't recall, but people were
The White
destroying
Sox game.
Black music. Yeah, let's destroy Black music. We don't want this anymore. We want to get rid of. And in fact, the entire music industry changed. Things like MTV came along, which basically we went through a period of really bad American music, where basically Black music was made to disappear. We don't want anymore. We don't want to have fun. We don't want to have love. We just want stupid, empty, white music. And we want to get rid of Black people.
MTV changed music.
Yes, MTV did. And in particular, one of the things is to get rid of Black people, to end the influence of Black folks singing about love and happiness and dancing and being happy. and they come in with the acid rock, the hard rock, the bands from Australia that had really terrible music where people couldn't sing or play, and you get rid of people like Barry
Blondie.
White. You get rid of Barry White. You get rid of these incredible people, Van McCoy, black folks that were making music that the
Curtis
world loved.
Mayfield.
Yeah, all of these people got sidelined to bring in folks who couldn't play, sing, or dance. And in reality, let's be honest, the last time that you had a real flowering of good music was the middle 80s. But what happened? Uh, what happened was that people broke the stranglehold of MTV, keeping black people off, in particular Michael Jackson, and then Lionel Richie, and then of course Whitney Houston came along in 84, 85.
And
All of this,
they sacrificed Rick James. Remember, Rick James was a spearhead of that fight and getting black
right,
people on MTV, and they never put him on. But because of Rick James's fight, Prince and Michael Jackson got put on.
right, and yeah, and Prince breaks out in 83 as well. Little Red Corvette and this other people come out. All of this stuff happens in 83. And the music business boomed because once there was good black music, people went back to buying music. So it's not even financial. It really is about exclusion and hate. And when you sit down, you think about when black music was dominant, you didn't have all this goth and black fingernails and ugly jewelry and double-headed hatchets and all this kind of stuff. So there's actually a struggle between good and bad music. And in fact, there's the bad music of the bad people and the good music of the good people. Let's be honest. You ask anybody, let's be real. You had cover music where basically we're going to denature and destroy the music of black folks and replace it with an ineffective white copy. Pat Boone and all the other people, right? I mean, there are two groups named the Diamonds, a white group from Canada and a black group. The black group could outsing the white folks, but you don't know about the black ones. The black ones have a song, Beggar for Your Kisses, but we know the Diamonds for Little Darling, basically a white group copying black people. So there's an inferior music and there's a superior music. And you're seeing this right now with all the boy bands and the fake ass Koreans who are basically doing black music from the 70s and 80s, acting as if they've invented something new. Or the Fag Street Boys, that's what I call them. And all these other people imitating stuff that the Temptations and the OJs and everybody did, and did it better, danced better, looked better, sang better. Let's be honest. So there's also a struggle between good and bad sound. Black music has to prevail because music gives so much to us in terms of
because white folks ain't powerful enough to destroy what's natural. They doing their best they can, but they ain't powerful enough to destroy this shit.
Well, and by the way, and I was doing a show and someone, white supremacist, was attacking me. And I made a comment that says, if you were truly for white supremacy, really truly for white supremacy, you would spend more time loving your women so we wouldn't have to, especially the ugly ones. We need to take their asses out of lost and found. And so, so if you think about, I'm going to tell you something. A lot of the little nasty, ugly incel music critics would attack the beautiful black music. All they do is sing about love. You never hear. And you know what? We got duped into not making love music anymore in order to be taken serious by jacked up, non-playing, non-singing, non-dancing so-called music critics at Rolling Stone and Variety who don't know shit. And so a lot of the beautiful music that we made, music that's been overlooked, the Donny Hathaway music with Roberta Flack and so forth, very good music that didn't get the same love as some of the bullshit we've got now, but was love and understanding. And in fact, I would say this, there's a strong possibility that Donny Hathaway was assassinated because he reached into something that made Black people, Black men and women, Black young and old, love, sing, and feel solidarity. And they destroyed Donny Hathaway. A lot of people don't know this, and it's very interesting that one of the main buildings
They destroyed Curtis Mayfield too.
in New York, where a lot of the music was being made, and it's what 1619 is the street address to the building where so much of the music business was controlled that was anti-Black. It's interesting, 1619, supposedly the date that we were brought here, which, that's a misnomer. And 1619 is the place where they conspired against Black music and Black people. But I'm going to step out here.
Thank you for coming, Dr. Shaw. I'm still looking for that white paper, the authentic, the full, whatever. We talk about that offline.
Okay.
But yeah, thank you again, man.
Okay.
Y'all follow Dr. Short and hit his Cash App. $sign Dr. Randy Short. But that's why we're having this discussion today. June is Black Music Month. We see what them folks are trying to do with our month. We see what they're doing. We see how they would turn around and put in the Pride Month or whatever. They always got to superimpose their stuff on top of ours. We come up with a black fist, they got to put a rainbow on it. We come up with the rainbow, they got to change the meaning of it. We said rainbow, trying to include you rat bastards. And then y'all gonna go ahead and take it and make it for yourself. Fuck y'all. You know what I mean? And this is what happens. This is how influential we are. And the music is a light into how influential we are into the whole culture of America. The music lets us know. It's the vehicle that we can see it through. That's why I push the music so much. Because a lot of our music, a lot of our history, and a lot of our influence is hidden in plain sight. It's right there, hidden right there in plain sight. So I bring the music up because I think the music is the easiest way to communicate to the kids and to the adults, to everybody. Because the music is the common thing that everybody's gonna listen to. People who don't even like music listen to music. And so that's one area that we can undeniably show our influence in not only America, but across the world. And Black Music Month in June is a great time that, like how we do it in February, that's how we do it in June when it comes to our music. It's time to celebrate our culture. It's Juneteenth month, but it's really the month of that Juneteenth day, but it's the month of how we liberated ourselves and liberated our through the music, and how the world uses our music to liberate itself. When the Arab Spring happened in 2011, when he had all of the Egyptians out there doing all that shit in Egypt, they was playing NWA, and they speak languages that sound like they got cotton stuck in their throat. How you speak a language that we sound like yuck 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 yuck, but fuck the police is your cultural revolutionary music. We got something special. And June is a great time to celebrate that specialness that we got. And if we feel like being a little bit petty, rub it in their face. Like, we created this, ha ha. And no matter how you feel about us, you got to play our music. You got the LGBTQ folks celebrating their month, but what are they playing? Black music. And they try to turn around and say, well, no, this is No, this is Black music. EDM, that techno shit is a child of disco. Disco was created by Barry White. Barry White is very much so straight. He had a Black woman named Glodine he was married to. It don't get no more straight than being a nigga that drive a Cadillac from South Central marrying a Black woman named Glodine. That's as straight can be. And that's where disco come from. You know what I mean? That's where the gambling huff is where disco comes from. Philadelphia, very much so straight. And even if they were gay, so common denominator is they black. Anybody we're talking about. When they try to make it a gay thing, they still was black. I don't care what it is. What would name the gay white person that created anything other than stealing? So we got to know that no matter where we look, there we are. You dig what I'm saying? No matter where we look, there we are. And June is a great time to talk about that. And when you listen to these other people that talk about how great their little cultures is, ask them what music are they listening to. Guarantee goddamn to you that what music is their kids listening to. They come in talking about something. Well, in my country, in my culture, in my culture, and how my culture is better than yours, my country is better than you. When they go around talking like, well, okay, yeah, go. What's your kids listening to? The same shit your black ass kids listen to. Go ahead, Twizzle.
Dwann B, what's happening, man? How you doing tonight, man? Black Voltron,
Yes,
what's
sir.
up,
Yes, sir.
family? How everybody doing tonight? I gotta
Yes, sir,
contribute on
brother.
this right here, man, because music is my family, bro. I was born into R&B singers and blues singers, bro. My dad, to some people who know already, my dad was in the movie The Max. The Mac, his group was called The Ballads. You know what I'm saying? Well, the number one song,
Yes,
God
sir.
Bless
Yes,
Our
sir.
Love. You know what I'm saying? And my uncle Robert Dion's, he was a major blues player, very intricate in the chitlin circuit back in the late '60s and early '70s. And Black Voltron could testify this. Out here in the Bay Area, we had this black city back in the days called Russell City. It's in the present day Union City. Russell City was an all black city back in the days, and back then it used to be part of the Chitlin circuit. So back in the musicians back, when they used to do the Chitlin Trail back then, they always came through Russell City, and then they would come through West Oakland on 7th Street, and that's when they would have their battles. When I was growing up, all I used to hear is about how my dad and them used to battle the whispers and singing contests and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? And to get to the topic, music is our life, bro. Music is soul. I mean, how are you when you don't have music in your life? Nigga be bitter, nigga be angry, upset, nigga be won't. But then just soon as you hear a certain song or some good music, it totally takes your mind off of it. And not only that, if you don't hear no music, just soon as you hear a song, that shit gonna sit on your head all day. You gonna be singing it, you gonna be harmonizing it, you gonna be mellowing it, and I done did some shit like that. I be in here sleep. Somebody ride by bumping a song. I'm in there singing that shit in my sleep. You know what I'm saying? Music is everything because it's rhythm. What conjoins us together? Rotation is rhythm. And when you hear a good song, your body jumps to it. That's why, like when we hear music, we start bobbing our head, we start moving. We could just be sitting here minding our business, but then just as soon as the song go by, what we do? We move to it because that's our body reacting to the rhythm. You know what I'm saying? Music is everything, bro. And what you were saying earlier, my uncle and them, they played the bass guitar. The guitar is all I know. Like how you said you played drums, my family played the guitar. Like how you said how the guitar was, and it's true because just like the lute, they would strum the strings across your chest, and the vibrations would unclog everything inside of you. You know what I'm saying? Just like when you get in a car that have hella beat in the back. What happened when that bass go boom? Remember back in the days, Dwan, when niggas used to bump that old school Too Short, that NWA, that bass would just go boom.
Nigga, yeah.
That bass would just go straight through you. You know what I'm saying? Them
You remember back in the
vibrations.
'80s when they was
Yes,
bumping Michelet? It's morning,
man.
dude.
Too Short,
Nigga,
Born to
'80s
Mac,
nigga.
Blowjob Betty, you know what I'm saying? All that shit. But the
Yeah,
good old days, that was good music back then. I'm in here sometimes when I be in my zone, I be in here watching videos of the SOS band, bro. I be watching videos of Sugar Hill Gang,
man.
Entomb, dude, back in the days in the 80s when they used to dress with long beads and shit. I mean, I wish I was born in those times, dude, because they don't have fun like that no more. It ain't none of this
Yeah.
music like that. Notice it ain't no R&B groups no more. You know what I'm saying? It's just
There
so
no more.
fucked up.
There
Like,
no more. There are no. I was me and my wife was talking about that. It
yeah,
used to be. Look, remember as a teenager growing up, and that when you was a kid, it was 4 or 5 women groups that you argue. I wasn't involved. Now the other one like, nah,
man.
SWV killing it. Then like, nah, fuck that. If we
Hey,
will
back in
argue
the
over
days,
which woman group. was the
Back in the
baddest.
days, if you had a bad woman, you had an in vogue, bro. You know what I'm saying? That's how
Right.
bad it was back in the day.
These
You know what I'm saying?
kids, think about it. If you under 30, if you under 30, if you're under 20, you didn't grow up with a group of bad chicks you can look up to and say which one you want to smash. I want one nigga wanted T-Boz, the next nigga wanted chili, the next one nigga wanted all three. But those was fun conversations in middle school. These kids, like, we got to fantasize over women and shit. The only person these niggas fantasize over now is LeBron James. This is different. So
This
that's
shit
the
way
music.
different, bro. Yeah, and the music though. This remember in our time it was about being real. You know what I mean? It taught you like I grew up in the streets and all I had was my music. Listening to Ice Cube, Too Short, and Scarface, and all they taught you was to be real. It taught you how to get your money, mind your business, and stay sucker free. This music
Be
nowadays,
true to the game.
dude, that's what I'm
Telling
saying.
you,
Be
trying to
real.
be
You got to
white
be
or
real,
Drew. Who are they to
man.
be equal to? That's what Cube was trying to tell us. Cube was trying to tell us, man, look, Too Short was trying to tell us, man, make your money, get your shit, and get the fuck on out of here.
Too Short had a song. What he say? Why you want to act like someone else? All you got to do is just be yourself. We're all the same color. Underneath, short dog in the house, you better listen to me. Never be ashamed of what
Yep.
you are. Be proud to be black. Stand tall and tall. Even though some people give you no respect, be intelligent when you put them in check. Because when you ignorant, you get treated that way. My dad always said, if you act like a nigga,
Yep.
you'll get treated like a nigga. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
That's what I grew up on. So that's why I'm a real nigga right now to this day. This music, I don't even listen to it, bro. I don't even understand it. These niggas is talking. They ain't rapping, they talking. Singing, like you say, these K-pop, you got motherfuckers going over there teaching them how to dance, teaching them our rhythm and everything. Now you think they better than us now. I mean, what is it about them? You can't even see you can't even see their fucking eyes. How could you pay attention to them? How could you take somebody serious if you can't look them in their eyes? You know what I'm saying? It's fucking crazy, bro. And it's like
He went there
I'm,
with
I'm tired of these
it.
motherfuckers hijacking our music, bro. I'm just really tired of it because my family died over this music shit, bro. My dad, before he died, he was fighting over the rights of his song, bro. That song, "Baby I'm For Real" by After Seven. He was still to this day fighting for
Yeah.
that. You know what I'm saying? That was my dad and them in that song. They did that, and After Seven remixed it. And
Yeah, I
like I
remember the
said, bro,
original. So your dad was the original. I like the original better. Yeah, I know
yeah,
that's your dad.
yeah, man,
I
come
love
on,
it.
it's a small world, bro. But you know, it ain't what we know,
Man,
it's who we know. You know what
shit.
I'm saying? But
It's
I'm just saying, we really need to start like how you say this black history, music appreciation. We really need to start gatekeeping this shit, bro. You know,
we
because these
do.
motherfuckers,
Look,
if we don't, you got motherfuckers like DJ Khaled and all them motherfuckers thinking they made shit. You know what I'm
you
saying?
know why it's so important, Twizzle? Because I started to make this point earlier and I lost my train of thought. We get so in, when we hear about ancestors and stuff like that, we want to go back to Africa. And like I said, no disrespect to Africa, whatever. I'm not about to fight nobody over that. But you gotta take your home first. I gotta honor grandmama first. Grandmama, when I cried, she nurtured me. I gotta honor what she gave me. I gotta honor Big Mama. And Big Mama's music was Dizzy Gillespie and Miles Davis and BB King. I gotta honor my great grandmama, Fats Waller, is what she liked. My great great grandmama, I'm pretty sure she was into Scott Joplin. I gotta take care of home first. Blessing is in take care of home. We gotta honor. Look, we got these greats who are still alive. Quincy Jones is still alive. I always say when God decided to incarnate as a musical human being, Stevie Wonder was born, and he said, "I'm so cold, I'm gonna chill with my eyes closed." And that man is still alive. We gotta honor him.
Smokey Robinson.
Smokey
Smokey Robinson.
Robinson. You saw that poem he did. I'm not taking my black back. He just recently did another interview recently. He was like, I know you've been to Africa. Look, this is American shit. I'm from Detroit, nigga. That's what Smokey said. Smokey said that shit on the news just in the last couple of months. He been saying that shit a lot over the last 10, 20 years. I'm from Detroit. I'm black American. I'm not African American. I'm black. We gotta honor and stand behind Smokey. We gotta Barry Gordy's still alive. We gotta honor these people. We gotta speak their names loud and proud. Because like Twizzle said, they spending a lot of money. I remember back in the 90s, they was offering my father-in-law wherever he wanted to go to Japan to learn how he does to him teach music theory. He didn't go, but they literally told him, gave him a blank check to come. He didn't do it. That's how much they into our music. And I wouldn't have been mad at him if he did, because they just hired somebody else. That they put their money up on trying to be us. Like to this day, because our music ever evolving, you get a few hit records here in America, Japan, Europe, they're gonna have blank checks for you to go over there and teach, because they know that they can't innovate and create. They need you. They need us. We have to put 10 toes down and stand on that and gatekeep it. And it's like, I ain't saying we ain't gonna work with you, but if I'm gonna work with you, I'm gonna work with you on the same level Bruce Springsteen worked with Puffy. When it comes time to sample my song, I am going to be on all the rights to everything that you make off this shit. I'll work with you. It's gonna cost you, and it's gonna cost you to the point to where I can now employ another 10, 15, 20 black people just on you getting a little bit of this sauce. And it's something that we can do, because white folks will work with us. Ain't that what they do with us? They'll give us a TV show, but it's gonna cost us. We ain't gonna living single. Friends was made off of living single. Living single people didn't make that money that people on Friends made. You know what I mean? They'll work with us, but it's gonna cost us. We gotta have that kind of mentality where we gatekeep our culture, and if we decide to work with us, we'll work with you, depending on how we feeling in these next 5 minutes. It's gonna cost you. I don't want to be here all night, so I'm not gonna be here too much longer. Miriam, I saw you had your hand back up. I'm gonna let you say what you have to say. Then I'm gonna let you finish off anything you got to say after that, too. So then we gonna close it on out. But real quick, Miriam, what do you have to say?
Sure. Going back a little bit, when we were talking about misappropriating the music and trying to dumb down the music and then repackaging it and presenting it as something that they did. As far as the children go, you have movies like Sing, you have movies like Troll World Tour. Oh my goodness, they getting into funk, like all the genres of music and things of that nature. And they have all these little different trolls who are different clans who are fighting over the music, and everybody have a piece of it. Um, and then it's the bad grungy people. Let me see who was the dad of the grunge, like heavy metal. They had Ozzy uh on there, and yeah, stuff like that. And then you have on Hulu, it's called Motherland Fort Salem, and these are which were are they are military witches. It's a whole series, very interesting. It deals with the psyllium of the earth, yeah, the fungi, the psyllium of the earth, and all vibrations and elements, and mainly wind that carries sound, the vocal cords, of them doing this form of martial art warfare.
What movie is this?
This is called
What movie
It's
is it?
called Motherland Fort Salem. It's a whole series, and it dealing with a bellwether band. It is deep on so many different levels. The one you will enjoy it, you and your wife, because it's right up our type of when you're dealing with the esoteric, the what the center of the earth is, all the way down to human healing. It could be a tool of destruction, or it could be a tool of salvation and healing. And they were doing war with white supremacy, with the United States government. They had them as allies, but they could turn on them at any chance, any reason. They had a whole faction going against them, trying to set them up. It's deep on so many levels. You will love it. It's on Hulu. It's called Motherland Fort of Salem. No, no, no kidding you. And then if y'all haven't seen Troll World Tour, yes, it's an animation, but it's deep. It's on multiple levels that goes way past a child head. just like Sing does. And they straight up touching on our ancestors. They straight up touching on the roots and the genre of music, but misappropriating it, giving a little bit of credit, but misappropriating it. They not telling you where these people get the sound from and things of that nature. And yep, Sing does it too. So Sing one is better than two. I'm a light bearer. I watch things not for entertainment, but to separate the science from the fiction. The truth from the fiction. So those are three musicals. Well, North Salem is a musical. It's sexual, it's warfare, it's nature, it's dealing with the voodoo or witchcraft, if you will. But it's all done through sounds. I kid you not, through the vocal cords. Oh my goodness, I can't wait until you see it, and we have a discussion later on it.
I'll make sure go ahead and watch it.
Hmm.
I'll make sure watch and we have a discussion on it.
Yep, that's how.
But thank you. Go ahead, Twizzle.
Nah, I'm pretty much cool, man. Y'all have a good night, man. You know what I'm saying? Black Voltron, everybody, y'all have a good night. I'm just gonna fall back and listen.
Sir, yes, sir. So yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. I'm closing on out because I don't want to keep y'all here all night. I'm gonna go back. I gotta go back and watch 5150. Corey on right now. That fool. If y'all gonna be in Dallas, I got my comedy show there Friday night. For those of you out there, Friday night, May 26th, the Urban Arts Center. Me, Slink Johnson, Black Jesus. He's also in the new White Man Can't Jump. Kamir White, telling them jokes up and down. It's May 26th night. This week, get your tickets at my
Dawn,
website.
quick question. Quick
Yeah.
question. How you feel about that movie?
My what?
The new White Man Can't Jump. How you feel about that? And that Jack Harlow. How you feel
I
about
think
that?
it's some. I think it's some bullshit. But like same way about House Party, my boy Teddy Ray was in it, so I still haven't got to this part. It's hard to even watch it. I hear this White Man Can't Jump is better. I got friends that are in it, but I'm done with these old remakes. Let's move on. They trying to force Jack Harlow down our throat by first he's an All Star Weekend
Who is he?
every year.
Who is Jack Harlow?
He's somebody white. That's somebody that's very important in white life. That's all I know. He a white dude.
What
That's
does he do?
somebody. He music. He's white. That's what he do. He's white. That's what he do. He's white.
Man,
And
I'm
he's
hearing his
white.
name, but like, what the fuck? You know what I'm saying?
He white. That's what he is. We do music, but he white. At the end of the day, he's white. That's what
Rap
it is.
rock,
And
very much an interloper.
and so it's like
Ugh.
that they trying to recreate the past because they don't want this shit to move forward. And again, going back into why we celebrate Black Music Month and why this all ties in, because with this AI music coming in, AI is about to take all because AI is just going to out Asians. It's going to out white people, and it's going to out white people do is copy and paste. The only people who are going to stay ahead of AI are people connected to source and tapped in. We're going to be the ones that's just the only way it can be. Because AI is about to take all these motherfuckers out. They're literally writing their own ticket out of this shit. Because AI is going to do this copy and paste mimic music better than all these mimicking ass cultures. So bring on AI and allow it to kick these niggas on out they shit. The only people that's going to survive moving forward are the innovators and the creators. Those of us tapped in the source. So tap into the artists that are tapped in the source, and make sure that for the young folks out there that they know the Black folks use Black Music Month to teach your children and teach the youngsters the importance to own and control what they create and to show them how great they are through our creations. Let the Generation X and the older generation, the baby boomers, be the last generation saying, grow up and get a job. We all seen what grow up, get a degree, get a job. We done seen how that shit work out for our generation. So if you a nigga still saying some shit like that, tap in. Tap in century, folks. You know what I mean? Having our kids because through tapping into themselves and tapping into their spirits, they'll create an industry for themselves. We create industry from everyone else, for everyone else through our spirit. Why can't we create industry for ourselves through our spirit? We create crack. It's crack. Our culture is crack. How we walk, we talk, how we get down, it's crack. It's crack. So the only thing we gotta do is focus on cracking that code and sprinkle a little bit of seeds of our culture on the other people, controlling that process from the end. Same way the Chinese do when they go in Africa and steal all their goddamn resources. We ain't gonna hire you at for it. You know, so they can. So that's what we gotta focus
You
on
in the
here.
matrix,
Crack the
brother
code on
Dwann, breaking up.
spin it. I am okay. I'm about to end it then. Thank you for that. Thank you for that, Miriam. Yeah, we gotta learn. We just gotta learn how to control the shit from the beginning to the end. Let's get the next focus on that. Let's make that our 100-year project. Everybody else got a 100-year project. Let's make that our 100-year project. Cracking the code on controlling what we create from the beginning to end. I guarantee if we make that our 100-year project, we'll have that shit figured out by year 16. Because we that dope. All right, thank y'all for listening. If you got this thing late, anytime late, I'm gonna have this up on YouTube probably tomorrow. All right, go to DwannB.com for all I do. I appreciate y'all. Y'all have a good night.